adorable little sheep. Stay tuned to see how I did this. Eid Ul Adha is next week and I made these adorable sheep cake pops to celebrate. Is that morbid? Maybe a little. Sorry. So I usually have leftover cake or cake scraps lying around that I freeze for later whenever I'm making cake pops or cakesicles. And now is that time. So I used some chocolate cake that I had left over and crumbled them up using my hands. I then added 1 spoon of ganache. You can also use icing for this. I always add a little bit at a time. There's no exact measurements for this. Just keep mixing it with your hands, it's just easier, until you get the consistency that you're able to hold its shape into a ball. I rolled them up into little oval shapes for the body and then placed them onto these little flower holders so that the bottom wouldn't flatten out while I put them in the fridge. I made as many as I could with what I had, and then took all of them and used a little stick to make little holes in the body where the legs would go onto each one. I then put these in the freezer for about 15 to 20 minutes. While they're in the freezer, I started working on the sheep faces. These are really simple. They're really just little ovals with the bottom part of the face just a little bit bigger than the top. I then used my fondant tool to make little holes for the nostrils and holes for where the eyes will be. I used tiny little fondant pieces to make little ears at the top, and that's it! I made some sheep in black and peach. For the legs, I used my fondant extruder on the biggest circle setting and just cut them all relatively the same size. I melted a bit of candy melt in the microwave in 30-second bursts. I then took my lollipop sticks and dipped them into the melted chocolate and put them directly into the bottom of the cake pop. I did this for each one and put it back in the fridge for 10 minutes to let it solidify. I took my cake pops out of the freezer and let it sit for about 5 minutes. You don't want them to be too cold or they will make the chocolate split. While that's thawing a bit, I melted the candy melts in 30-second bursts in the microwave. I added a bit of Crisco to my melted chocolate so that it would make it a little bit more liquidy and easier to dunk my cake pops in. You don't want it too thick or it will start to look like a really fat sheep. I took my cake pop and dunked it right down into the melted chocolate. Then just tap the sides and make sure all of the excess chocolate drips off. I then took my toothpick and accentuated the holes where the legs are supposed to go. I put one leg in each of the holes and the white chocolate will harden and keep it that way. While your white chocolate is still wet, you want to put on some little white nonpareils all over your cake pop. You could use bigger nonpareils too, but it will make your sheep look a little bit fatter. You can already see it coming together. It's starting to look pretty cute. Sorry my footage totally cut out here, but I just stuck the hat on with some white chocolate and that was it. I then just took a little bit of piping gel and put it all over its head and added a little bit of nonpareils to his head to give it a little bit of hair. The last thing I did was put on some eyes. I just took some white fondant for the circles and then put some black fondant right in between to look like its pupils. I really think these turned out so cute and I absolutely love them. I honestly love the way these turned out. They turned out so adorable. I made these for Eid, but you could also make them for a barnyard or farm party or just because you love sheep. If you like these as much as I do, please give them a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet seen my other Eid videos, click on the playlist right over here. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking on my floating face right over here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Eid Mubarak to everyone who's celebrating, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!